I might need to move to Atlantis.
Who should Chelsea sign in this summer's transfer window? For cheap good quality football jerseys, go over to www.jerseyfever.com. A link will be left in the description and use code atlantisfootball to get 5% off. Before I get into the analysis, just give me 30 seconds to tell you about the OneFootball app, because this is the app I use to keep up to date with the latest circulating transfer rumours, and I find the match section on the app incredibly useful as well, as they have stats from matches from pretty much every league in the world, which is great for keeping up to date with the leagues, teams and players that you aren't able to watch as much as you would like. If you like this channel, you'll definitely love this app, and you'll be helping to support the channel directly, so click the link in the description to get the OneFootball app. So this is going to be the first episode of a series looking at the business that Chelsea should do in the summer transfer window. If you want me to do this for other clubs, put those suggestions in the comment section below, and remember to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. I'm first going to be giving a brief tactical description of Tuchel's system at Chelsea before looking at who I think Chelsea should sell this summer, who they should recall from loans, and who should be loaned out again before I detail the positions I will be targeting for improvement. In other episodes, they will be linked in the description if they have come out already. I will be analysing players and other options specifically. So since coming to Chelsea, Tuchel has primarily used a 3-4-3 system with two very offensive wing-backs in Reece James or Callum Hudson-Odoi on the right, and either Marcos Alonso or Ben Chilwell on the left. The back three is interesting as the wide centre-backs, probably more Azpilicueta on the right than the left-sided centre-back, push forward like conventional fullbacks on occasion. However, rather than holding their width, they tend to be positioned more like quarterbacks in this area and look to make runs forward in an underlapping manner. Two of Jorginho, Kovacic or Kante are in the midfield double pivot, who sit deep in possession, and their primary job is to circulate the ball before looking to progress it forward into either the middle or final thirds. Ahead of them, Tuchel uses two centrally advanced midfielders from either Havertz, Mount, Ziyech or Hudson-Odoi, who will look to sit between the lines of the opposition system and drift into the half spaces to receive the ball. Up front it differs, with Werner playing as a naturally advanced forward, drifting over to the left side and looking to make penetrating runs in behind the back line, whereas we see Olivier Giroud play more as a deeper line forward, dropping off from the forward line to link the attack, allowing the two attacking midfielders to make runs off of him. Tammy Abraham is a blend of the two, but probably more like Werner in the sense that he plays like an advanced forward, sitting on the shoulder of the last defender and looking to make runs in behind. However, it also seems that Tuchel could look to transition to a 4-2-3-1, a 4-4-2 or a 4-3-3 system in the future. When he gets centre backs, he feels are comfortable playing in a centre back pairing and need less protection from a three at the back system. But Chelsea's squad at the moment is quite bloated and they could raise funds by selling off bit part players. The best way to see who should be sold from a squad is to look at when current contracts expire. So this summer, Willy Caballero, Olivier Giroud and Thiago Silva's contracts are coming to an end. I would give both Giroud and Thiago Silva a 1-year extension. Next summer in 2022, Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Emerson, Bakayoko and Christensen's contracts are up, and from these I would keep Rudiger and Azpilicueta for another year, but I wouldn't give them extensions just yet because of their ages. I look to move on Christensen, who I think Chelsea could get around £15 million for, and I think Emerson could bring in around £10 million. Bakayoko could also bring in around £15 million as well if sold. In 2023, Alonso, Zuma, Kante, Abraham, Gilmore and Ross Barkley's contracts are set to expire, and from this pack I'd look to move on Marcos Alonso, who could bring in around £10 million, with his wages also being moved off of the books. Kurt Zouma is another player I'd look to sell, as I think whilst he has just 2 years left on his contract, he could bring in around £25 million, and Barkley could bring in £20 million as well. Along with the players I've already suggested, I'd also look to move on Ruben Loftus-Cheek, who could bring in £15 to £20 million, which would mean that in total Chelsea could bring in around £120 million in transfer fees alone. In regards to young players who aren't yet ready to break into Chelsea's first team but have promising futures so should be loaned out, I think both Ethan Ampadu and Malang Sarr look like they could potentially be very good wide centre backs in a back three due to their excellent ball playing abilities, so should be loaned out to clubs who use them in these roles, or at the very least use them as conventional centre backs in a possession orientated system. Chelsea already have Kovacic and Jorginho as their starting central midfielders, with Kante an alternative option, so I think one of Billy Gilmore or Conor Gallagher, who's currently on loan at West Brom, should be kept at Chelsea and the other loaned out. I think Gallagher should be the one that's loaned out, as he certainly is a Premier League level central midfielder, having the necessary industrious nature and energy to be a very good ball winning central midfielder in the future, but he will need to improve his on the ball abilities in terms of his forward passing and dribbling, so I think a loan move to a Premier League side like Leeds, Brighton, Norwich or Brentford, if those two get promoted, will really aid his development. Billy Gilmore is a better deep line playmaker than Gallagher at the moment, despite not being as good physically or defensively. However, he does suit Tuchel's system better and is very similar to Kovacic, so I think giving him increased minutes throughout next season will lead to him eventually improving these lesser aspects of his game. I would also bring back Tomori from his loan spell at AC Milan, as he showcased what a great physically dominant centre back he is, and he'd be perfect for a back three, as he now seems to be a more accomplished version of Rudiger. I would also look to loan out Kepa Arrizabalaga, as I think his value is only going to decrease while he sits on the bench at Chelsea, so he should be loaned out somewhere where he can be a starter, and then maybe he can improve significantly, as we've seen with goalkeepers like De Gea and Bernd Leno in the past, and then Chelsea can either sell him with his value higher than it is now, or bring him back into the starting goalkeeping position. So I've gone through the players I would sell from this Chelsea squad, the players I would recall from their loans to be used in the first team, and the players that I think should be sent out on loan again, but what areas should Chelsea be looking to bring players in to improve? So if we look at Chelsea's current options in their starting 11, it's clear that in attack they are stacked with players who, despite not fully hitting their stride this season, are definitely more than talented enough to become top level players next season. At the back, I think Chelsea can improve individually. I would say that if Tuchel persists with a 3-4-3, which I think he will do even if he does switch to a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 more often next season, then he needs to bring in a wide centre back who can play from the left of the back three and one who can play from the right side, who are both better ball playing defenders than Rudiger and Azpilicueta. I already talked about Chelsea's wide centre backs becoming like quarterbacks when in possession in the middle third. I think this is something that can become a real creative weapon if they can get the right players in these positions. So later on in the series, I'm going to be identifying a right-sided centre back and a left-sided centre back who can play either side of Tomori or Thiago Silva at centre back, with Rudiger and Azpilicueta becoming the backup wide centre backs. Chelsea are already very strong in the right wing back position with Reece James the starter, but Callum Hudson-Odoi also capable of becoming a top level wing back in this system. On the left, however, I do think Tuchel needs to find a better offensive wing back than Chilwell, so that Chelsea would have two top level fullbacks on the left and the right side, with Chilwell maybe being preferred in a 4 at the back system. Central midfield is already strong enough with Kovacic, Jorginho, Kante and Gilmour. Ahead of them, I think they are already set with any two of Mason Mount, Christian Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech, Kai Havertz, and even Callum Hudson-Odoi being able to play in those attacking midfield positions. And up front, I think Giroud, Werner and Abraham are three very good strikers to have in your squad, not only because they are all capable of being starters, but they all provide something different in the centre forward position in this system, giving Tuchel the versatility that he likes. However, I do think there's one striker on the market that Chelsea could potentially sign that would be a game changer, and it may be an out of the box idea, but it is something that I will be talking about in a later episode in this series. I think that Chelsea will be able to spend at least around the £150 million mark this summer, and potentially more if the right player and circumstances are there. So I will be targeting a wide right-sided centre-back, a wide left-sided centre-back, a left wing-back and a conditional striker that Chelsea should sign in the next few episodes of this series. If those videos are already out, I'll leave them linked in the description and in the eye above, and if they haven't, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you get notified when they do come out. Also give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and go to the description to check out some of my other Chelsea videos which I have made a playlist for, and follow me on my other social media accounts as well for more content.